Hey, everybody, got a little Bible story time for you. So, let me ask you a question. When you guys go to church and you are listening to your pastor and he's like giving you examples from his own life, do you ever think to yourself, like, I wonder if this is a real story or is he just trying to make a point? So, I want to tell you a little story from my life that made me realize that they're probably telling the truth about these things that are happening to them. So, way back when, probably, I don't know, year and a half ago, I used to pray all the time, God, let me be a blessing to somebody else today. Like, I think we always want to be like, we want to be the recipient of a blessing, but it's so much more fulfilling and awesome to be like on the giving side of somebody else's prayer. So I used to pray this all the time. And so let me tell you a little story about one thing that happened that was like absolutely God orchestrated this at the time. So I was driving over to the store that's kind of close to my business, my gym. And so I was going to the store and I'm pulling into the parking lot and I noticed this homeless guy, and he's just kind of sitting on the bench to the side. He wasn't doing anything crazy, but he had all these bags with him, and uh, like I don't know why, but it was like God was like really highlighting this guy, uh, so that I would see him. And so uh, I remember I ended up driving right by him because I didn't understand like what God was wanting me to do. So I just remember thinking as soon as I drove by this guy that like I knew I had missed the opportunity. And so I kept on driving and I pull into my parking space and I go into the store that I was going to go to. And I come out of the store, I get back in my car. And so I'm looking around for this guy and he's nowhere to be found. Okay. And so I say the prayer again. And I was like, God, if you want me to interact with this guy, if you want me to be a blessing to this guy, just put him in my path again, and I will make sure that I stop and talk to him or interact with him, whatever you need me to do. And so I start my drive back over to my business, my gym, and as soon as I leave the parking lot, I get onto Division, which is kind of the busy street in my town in Spokane. And so I'm driving down Division, and as soon as I pull out, this guy is crossing the street, probably no more than like 100 feet in front of me. So he's fairly close. And I was like, okay, God, like I see him, I get it. You want me to interact with him. And so this guy is crossing the street in like heavy traffic, and I'm coming up to him. And we're coming to a point where we're gonna meet like just perfectly, right? And so I have to slow down so that he can cross in front of me. And so at that moment, I asked God again. I was like, God, if you really want me to interact with this guy, because you know how we are, and we sometimes don't get the hint even when we ask for it. And so I said, God, if you really want me to interact with this guy, just give me some kind of a sign. I don't care what it is, just give me a sign. And so he's crossing on the other side of the street, kind of into like oncoming traffic. And I'm looking over at him, and he is wearing this purple jersey. And on the back of it, it says, Go Joe. And I remember the prayer that I just prayed. I just asked God to give me a sign if he wanted me to like go and interact with this guy. And it says, Go Joe on his jersey. Okay. And so I had this moment where I laughed a little bit about it, and I was like, okay, God, like I get it. Like you are slapping me in the face with this one. I see that you want me to interact with this guy. And so really have to like chase this guy down. He actually crossed back over the street. So not only did I have to like go and like turn down, the other street and try and find him in one parking lot, I had to get back onto the street and go find him in the original parking lot. And so I'm coming up to this guy, and just like before, we are coming to just the perfect intersection. I'm pulling into the parking lot, he's walking across, and we come to just the perfect point where I had to either speed up or slow down again. Speed up if I wanted to interact with him, or slow down if I didn't want to hit him. And I decided to speed up and I rolled down my window. And on my way back over there, I was like, God, do you want me to give him money? And I was like, if that's the case, how much do you want me to give him? And God put it in my mind, $40. And so I took $40 out of my wallet and I had it already in my hand and I have my window, it's rolling down and we're coming to that point and I just look over at him and I was like, dude, I don't know what this is, but God wants me to interact with you right now and he wanted me to come talk to you and he was like he told me to give you this money. And this guy gives me this like little like he like tips his head to the side and he like gives me a little laugh. And in that moment, I knew that that guy was praying for a miracle and I believe that I was the one that was facilitating. I mean, God did it, but I was the one that was making that miracle happen for him. And like I said before, it's always really fun and cool to be on the receiving end of God's blessing and God's miracles, but it's so cool to be on the giving side and to be the one who is listening to God and following through and like, you can see it happening in real time. So I really want to encourage everybody. I know I said it all before, but pray those little prayers. Like, tell God you want to be a blessing for somebody and just watch what God does. Okay. So that is my new challenge for you guys. You guys all know that my main thing is like you have to try it out. So try it out. Let me know in the comments down below what God does. All right. Peace.